Well, good morning and welcome to Cindy's Kitchen. We are so excited that you are here this morning. If you're brand new, welcome. Good morning, Donna. We're going to start with what I'm calling Bayou Blondies. Bayou Blondies. So like a brownie, but with no chocolate. So hence the blondie, right? Okay, so we're going to start. We're going to need 3 eggs. We're going to need powdered sugar. We're going to need cream cheese. And we're going to use a little flour. And we're going to need some melted butter. Okay, and a 9x13. I'm going to go ahead and spray it. And I'm going to spray it with the flour-based spray. I don't always do that, but when I'm baking things, I tend to do that. Okay, so we're going to start with a cup of pecans. Now, I have chopped these up because I don't like big pieces of pecans. So either a finely chopped or just a regular chop. If you don't like pecans, you certainly could use almonds or just omit the nuts. Wholly up to you, okay? So we're gonna put a cup of chopped nuts, you nut. Then we're gonna add 1 egg in the bowl. La la la. I'm gonna add my cake mix. This is a yellow cake mix. If I can find my scissors. There we go. Everybody needs kitchen scissors, don't you? In we go. And our butter. 1 stick of melted butter. Now, it's a cake, and so you might say we need unsalted butter. And you certainly could use unsalted butter. But quite frankly, Okay, I think and I'm using my Danish batter whisk to give this a stir. You also could use a hand mixer if you want to. I don't know if any of you have the old, I'm sure you have old, Betty Crocker cookbooks, or one of my favorites was a cookbook called The Cake Doctor, where you could make all kinds of different cakes using just basic box mixes. Okay, I don't know if you had those. I think I had 2 of them. Anyway, I loved it. I thought it was great. That being said, if you have my other favorite thing is cookbooks that churches put together, right? Those I think are awesome. Well, here's the problem. With all of your old cookbooks, and I don't know if you've noticed this, if you've done anything right now, but here's the problem. Cake mixes, box cake mixes used to be 18.25. They are no longer 18.25. So that being said, anytime I use any recipe that's older that calls for a cake mix, I go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of just plain all-purpose flour. So 3 tablespoons of flour to this, and now I'm gonna mix this up. I probably should have put that in there first, but I wanted to show you that I was doing it. So as a result, you might find, if you're using those older recipes and you don't add the flour, you might find that your cake either sinks in the middle or it's getting too brown before you can get it where it's not goopy in the middle, which means the outsides are dry and the insides aren't. And so it just doesn't make a good cake. Okay, now we're gonna take our 9x13, or in my case, a 10x12 that we've sprayed. And you see how this is clumped, right? It's very thick. Not what you expect from a cake batter, is it? No. All right, so you see what it looks like in there, and it's a little thick. And okay, so I'm just using my knuckles, right? You can do this, but I just always use my knuckles and press down. Okay, and we're just making it flat on the bottom. All right, so now, can you see what it looks like? There we go, flat on the bottom. All right, that's the bottom layer. All right, now, I'm not cleaning my bowl or my whisk. I'm just leaving it the way it is, because really, too much. Now we're gonna add 2 eggs, 1 egg, and 2 eggs. Okay, in we go. Before we start, I'm just gonna give that just a little swish, just to mix them up. now we're gonna add 8 ounces of cream cheese. All right, so 8 ounces, this needs to be room temperature, and in we go. Dump, 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 dump in my trash bowl. And now we're gonna use 2 cups of powdered sugar. Powdered sugar, yes, yum. Okay, where's my cup? All right, so I'm just gonna do 2 cups of powdered sugar. 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 cups of powdered sugar. So you could get your hand mixer out and do this, because I know that, you know, with the cream cheese, sometimes the hand mixing doesn't get it all pretty. I'm not especially worried about that. All right, so here we go. If you want it pretty, use your hand mixer and get all the lumps out. All right, I'm just gonna dump. Now, remember that we did our cake mix and our stick of butter, 1 egg, and pecans, and that's on the bottom layer, right? We pressed that into our greased and floured baking dish, 9 by 13 or 10 by 12 if you're using Polish pottery, baking dish, okay? Yum. All right, ugh. Hey Dawn, good morning. Okay, and then we're just gonna spread this out all along the top, la 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 la, all along the top of that layer that we've put down, okay? I know it doesn't look as pretty because it has little lumps of cream cheese. Doesn't bother me at all. It'll taste all the same, okay? There we go. Now, this goes in a preheat your oven, 325 degrees, which is different. 325 degrees for 40 minutes, okay? 40 minutes. Okay. In the oven it goes. All right. So while that's baking, we will start our muffuletta. Yay, muffuletta. Okay. All right, so for our muffuletta, we're gonna need some bread because it's a sandwich. In case you were curious, a muffuletta is a sandwich. So let's do a little history lesson, if you so desire. Good morning, Kathy. So our history lesson is the Muffuletta Sandwich, because there's kind of a difference, was popularized in New Orleans, Louisiana in the early 1900s, in case you were curious. Good morning, Sandy. But few people know that it actually just started as a bread, right? Muffuletta was just like considered a bread. It wasn't until Italian immigrants then came to New Orleans that things changed. And so we have Salvatore Lupo, Salvatore Lupo. And he was the one, and he owned a grocery store called Central Grocery Company. So he owned this grocery store. Oh, see, you knew. That's so funny. Is it okay to preheat the oven if using Polish pottery? Of course, Lois, yes. The only time you don't want to put Polish pottery in a preheated oven is if the Polish pottery is cold. So if you had it in the refrigerator or the freezer, that's not a good thing. You have to put it in and then turn the oven on. I know. Okay, so he owned this grocery store. And so he saw his customers buying the bread and then buying all the cold cuts and the cheese to go in there and, you know, everything. And so, and they had their hands full, right? Because remember, grocery stores in the early 1900s were very small. You didn't have carts that you were pushing. And so to help his customers out, to save them, he started making this into a sandwich. And so it was already put together. And so he made, and it was finalized in 1906. And since then has become a major staple in New Orleans. So there you go. All right. Okay. Good morning, Margaret. Good to see you. All right. So I'm starting out. This is like an Italian round loaf. Okay. You see what it looks like? It's a round loaf. There are some people that use focaccia. I don't think that's right. I mean, it's right if that's what you like. If you like focaccia, then fine. But, you know, most focaccia that you buy are long and rectangular. That's not good. Good morning, Jamie from OKC. Hello, Larry. This is what it looked like. In this, it just says Italian round loaf. It's from, let's see, what does it say? Italian It's called a boule bread, B-O-U-L-E, whatever, right? Just a round loaf is what you need. So it's a little hard on the outside, and you're gonna take your bread knife, use your bread knife, and we're gonna cut down the middle, okay? Ta-da! Look at that. Ta-da. So it's soft in the middle and hard on the outside. Not way hard, but a little hard. Okay, so now that we've opened our bread, we need to assemble our other ingredients. Well, before we do that, let me do this. Let me get this. So the only thing we're gonna do to the bread, there's no mayo or mustard going on this puppy. No, no, no. And there's not some other weird thing. We're just gonna use some olive oil. I know, really? Just olive oil? Yes. So we're gonna take a little olive oil and put on there, and then I'm just gonna take my spatula and kind of spread it out. Every corner doesn't need to be covered, but you know, you want a good amount of olive oil, because remember, this is a kind of a thick bread, and so it'll take all that liquid and not get mushy on you. Okay, so there's one side, and then I'm gonna do, I know, if you've been to New Orleans and you've been to Central Grocery, you know that this is a little slice of heaven. Okay, so we're gonna spread that out on my other piece. La 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 la. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got our bread open. Crust to crust is a must. All right, so that being said, you have some options. Some of you are very lucky and you live in a town where there is a large or large-ish Italian community. Now, maybe Houston has a large Italian community, but it's not where I live. And I bet if I would have hit some other grocery stores or delis, I probably could have, like if I'd have gone to Kat's Deli, I probably, but I just went to my local store, which is Kroger, and so I was a little limited. So, the first thing we're gonna use, they did have this, is called Mortadella. Now, in case you were curious, Mortadella is an Italian lunch meat, deli meat, right? I'm gonna open it up so you can see. All right, you see the Mortadella? Now, if you had to pick something in America that was like this, it would be bologna. The difference is, Mortadella tastes more like pork, and it's creamy, okay? Whereas bologna is made of, I don't know what, but there you go. Okay, so if you don't have access to Mortadella, you can, of course, use bologna. That would be fine. Or you could use olive loaf. Yes, Italian bologna. You could use olive loaf. I used to eat that when I was a kid. Anyway, all right, so we're gonna put a layer of Mortadella down on the, well, I say I'm gonna do that. It was moving the bread. Okay, hold on. Oops, let's go this way. I'm gonna turn, oops, I'm gonna turn you. Can you see now? There you can see. Okay, so this is a small, and I'm not gonna tell you how much, because one, I don't know how much you're eating, and two, how big your bread is. Because really, we want a single layer of Mortadella, okay? So that aside, now we're gonna use some salami. You can do any kind of salami. Genoa is usually what they call for, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the salami rounds. And actually, before I do that, I'm gonna put on a layer of provolone. We could do the accents today. Mortadella and provolone, and I'm gonna use some mozzarella. So there you go. Not everybody does, but okay. So this is, I just got this in the deli. I mean in the refrigerated section. I didn't even go to the deli because it was cheaper. That's about the same slice. And so I'm gonna go around, and now I'm gonna put a layer of cheese all the way around. Yum. Okay, now the salami. The salami. Okay. Isn't that pretty? I might put a little bit more salami on because this salami is sliced very thin. So I like a good, So you have to ask, how is this different from like an Italian sub like you would get? And we'll get to that. I mean, I think it's the bread and the selection of meats and the olive stuff. Okay, now I've just got some plain old mozzarella. Not my homemade mozzarella. It's too good to use for that. I've been eating a lot of tomatoes and mozzarella. So good. Now these are square, but doesn't really matter. All right, so then we're gonna do a layer of the mozzarella. La la la. I'm gonna cut that one in half. There we go. All right, so now I have my mozzarella. Look how pretty. It's getting pretty, right? All right, and then the last thing we're gonna do, normally you would use Capicola. Capicola. This sounds like another one of your recipes. It is, and it's so easy. I mean, really, even if you don't have Mortadella and Capicola, you can use olive loaf or bologna. And if you don't have Capicola, Capicola is like an uncured Italian ham. And so my deli, I actually went to the deli because I got the Mortadella there, and they didn't have Capicola. So, hey Donna, good to see you. So I'm just using regular old, out of the box, cheap ham. This is fairly thinly sliced, so I might overlap. This is good too if you're wanting to feed a whole lot of people for lunch. So that's a good thing too. Okay. Now I have all of my meats. All right, there we go. So we started with our bread and our olive oil. Then we added a layer of mortadella or bologna or olive loaf, a layer of sliced provolone cheese, a layer of salami, Genoa or whatever you have, then a layer of mozzarella cheese, and now a layer of either Capicola or ham, if that's what you have. Okay, now this is a great sandwich all by itself, but that's not really what makes it the muffuletta, right? Now we need the olive salad. Okay, I am not making olive salad from scratch. Used to, in my grocery store, they had big jars. Like, I could go to the olive section and get a big old jar of, and it would either say olive salad or muffuletta olive salad, right? No big jars. I'm like, what? But in the deli, they did have a little container, of course it cost more, of olive salad. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It has, so it's olive oil, it's different kind of olives in there. It has onions, celery, red pepper strips, capers, usually pickled peppers. Pirtle has a peck of pickled pepper. No, but they're the banana peppers, so they're not overly hot. Although you can get a muffuletta olive salad that's very spicy, but not necessary. So that's what it looks like. You could certainly make your own. I'm just not. Okay. Now this contains. This says 7.4 ounces, which is almost a cup, which is good. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna flip it up like. All right, there we go. I know a cup seems like an awful lot, and it probably is for this smallish bread. This loaf of bread was a little smaller, but it's fine. All right, so we just want to make sure we have a good layer of olive salad all the way around, because you know what my rule is? Perfect bites, right? Perfect bites. I have olive salad everywhere, which doesn't bother me. Okay, olive salad. There we go. All right. I know. You guys are like, quit licking your fingers. Good morning, Tommy. Olive tapenade works well. Yes, if you can't get it. All right, now we put our lid on. I'm going to push down a little bit, and ta-da. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Now, you can eat it just like this. Or you can put it in the oven, 350, 375, for a little bit to let the cheese melt. I'm going to cheat. Hold on. Hold on. Watch how I cheat. Now, if you do this in the oven, then your bread will get a little crunchier, which is fine, right? That's good. Mine is crunchy enough. Okay, I'm putting this on this little platter. See this? Oh, leave that there. I'm gonna cut salad. And now I'm gonna put it in the microwave. I know, right? In the microwave. Oh, Cindy, bad girl. So I'm just gonna put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds. I'm guessing. No, do it a minute. Do it a whole minute. Okay. Oh, I could sit and eat olive salad all day. If you're ever doing a salad with tomatoes and fresh mozzarella, get some of that olive salad and dump in there and mix it all together. So good. So good. Okay, now, our cake takes 40 minutes to cook. That being said, I know how you guys are. Ooh, hello, Cindy and Debbie and Sherilyn and Shan. Good to see you. I know how you guys are when I don't taste things. So I made one ahead of time. Here's what it looks like. Now, I'm going to tell you, you see how the edges are browned? The edges are going to start to brown, and you're going to say, oh, I need to take it out. But if the top isn't this brown color, because that's what'll happen. The edges will start to get a little brown, but this is all clear. Don't take it out. So there you go. This is what it looks like. Ooh, ooh, right? All right, let me get a plate. Pretty plate. Oh, pretty. Look at the flowers. Pretty, huh? Darius, hello. Chastity, hello. All right, so I'm gonna cut a piece. A big piece? Well. Okay, now remember, our bottom layer had that cake on it that was a little thick. So as you're cutting, then obviously, okay, up we go. Look at that. Look. Can you tell? Okay, so there's this layer that's dense, and it's almost like a crust on the bottom. And that was where we did our cake mix. And then this top layer, look at that. This top layer is almost like a cream cheese. Because remember, on the top layer, we did cream cheese, powdered sugar, and 2 eggs. So there you go. All right, I could use, so that's our pretty, right? I could use a fork, but I'm not gonna. Here we go. It's like having cake and cheesecake all at the same time. So, almost the density that you would get like of a brownie. But if you're not in a chocolate mood, this is an excellent option for you. And quite frankly, we use stuff that we have in our house, right? It is pretty, isn't it? Okay. So good. All right, let's move the cake. It's time to cut. Did you get a picture? Okay. I'm gonna put this back on the cutting board. So oh, it's warm now. Ooh, see if you're in a hurry. Look, olive salad. If you're in a hurry, it's fine. Now, you can slice this any way you want to, okay? You could go across and do big slices. That's fine. I'm gonna cut it straight down the middle, just so you can see. Again, using my bread knife. And then we're gonna open it up. Look at that. Can you see? Is that gorgeous? So it's layers of meat, cheese, meat, and then all of our olive loaf. Yum! All right, I'm gonna put this back on the tray, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut, well, I'm gonna cut a smaller slice for me to taste. This is what's for lunch. I'm so excited. Now, I will tell you, between the olive salad and the olive we put on there, This is one of those sandwiches that you eat like this because there's going to be olive oil dripping. But that's what you want to do, right? I'm just telling you. Okay, so look at that. Look how pretty that is. How do I get my mouth around that? Come on. How long have you been watching, Carmel? You know I have a big old mouth. Okay, I am going to smash it. I'm going to smash. And here we go. Ready? Mmm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, salty meats. That bread is to die for. Mmm. Creamy cheese. Mmm. And then at the end, the crunchy, salty bite of the olive salad. Because you're eating the olive salad and you're like, olive. And then you get a banana pepper and you go, wow. So there we go. That's our show for today. Two of my favorite things inspired by Louisiana. We have our yummy Bayou Blondie and our simply to die for Muffuletta. I hope you guys have a lovely lunch. From my kitchen to yours. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you again on Saturday at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. You guys have a great day, and thanks again for tuning in. Bye-bye.